Good afternoon, everyone. Lots of wonderful conversations happening. I hate to interrupt them, but please, if you have not done so already, please be seated and welcome to the 2025 Scholarship Luncheon. I'm going to say that it's not the silver streaks of wisdom running through my hair that reveal how old I am. It's my use of complete punctuation and sentences on the rare occasion that I do use text. And when I say streaks of wisdom, please know that I am using that term very loosely. My grandmother would often say, "You're puttering." And I think as the older I get, the more I'm puttering with the wisdom. I always find description of yourself rather interesting because according to Exupéry's Little Prince, what is essential is invisible to the eye. And I know that for those who are blind or low vision, it's very important to add that description. So I'm going to say I'm a petite Caucasian woman with blue eyes, and my hair is worn in a bun. I'm wearing a light blue suit with a white t-shirt, silver jewelry, dark blue-rimmed glasses, and a pair of really, really cool boots, just in case you haven't seen them. My pronouns are she and her, and some may also notice that I wear a few battle scars. I began wearing these a couple of weeks before Christmas and a few weeks before I was 2 years old. And the next part that I'm going to tell you about is going to be a little technical, but it does provide some insight and understanding for anyone who may not be familiar for what fire can do. A first-degree burn, I'm sure we've all at some point in time experienced one, that's the top layer of your skin. It's an ouch, that hurt. It goes away in a few days. A second-degree burn is a partial thickness burn which involves the top layer of the skin, which is the epidermis, and also the dermis, which is the underlying part of the skin. It typically heals within 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the depth of it. Third and fourth degree burns, those are the mother of burns, and they are the most severe. A third degree burn, or a full thickness burn, destroys the top layer of the skin and the underlying dermis, potentially extending to tissue underneath. Fourth degree burns, the burns that I like to call the jaws of all burns, they extend deeper. They damage and destroy underlying tissue, including muscles, tendons, bone, and often result in nerve damage, and can often result in the loss of appendages, fingers, toes, ears, nose, chin. The end result of my nylon dress igniting that night was third and fourth degree burns over almost 70% of my body, with the remaining in first and second degree. I'm going to skip ahead to when I finally arrived at the Children's Hospital in Halifax. And I was on a gurney in the emergency hallway as the team took a look at me, and a doctor stepped aside and he pulled my mother aside and said, "Mrs. Lorenz, we don't have the skills or the knowledge to treat Sherry. And right now she's in a coma. And the best advice that we can give, because we don't think she's feeling any pain at the moment, the best advice that we can give is to let her pass away peacefully." Not everything here needs to be unpacked, but I share this small part of my journey with you today as a reminder that life is not linear and it's messy. And where we start in life is no indication as to where we will be in the future. But in our journey, always try to remember this, that what is essential is invisible to the eye. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sherry Costa-Lorenz, as I said, and in addition to being the chair of the Partnership for Access Awareness, better known as PANS, it is also my privilege to be the executive director for the Nova Scotia League for Equal Opportunities, which is a nonprofit organization that has been around in this province for, I think it's 46 years. And we have been bringing PANS and access awareness to the province for 39 of those years. And we do this, many of you are in the room here today, by working collaboratively across sectors and across multi-levels of government to address the systemic issues that impact persons with disabilities. So we do have some things, housekeeping items I would like to put out there in the event that we need these, probably some really important ones. First and foremost, if you need the washrooms, they are directly behind the registration desk when you came in. Men's will be on your left and the women's is on the right. I'd also like to let you know that we have CART, that's captioning audio in real time, and ASL interpreters are available on screen as well as in person. This event is also being streamlined and recorded on our YouTube channel. And for people joining us through the web, thank you. Thank you for being a part of Access Awareness Week, and thank you for joining us in today's event. We'd also like to have some photo opportunities with sponsors, scholarship recipients, dignitaries, and honored guests following the presentation. So please don't run off, and even though you might be camera shy, I'm sure we have some really good photographers who can catch you in your best light. If you need assistance in person, please reach out to Amanda. I know she's not feeling well, and I hope that when she gets her first break that she's able to get some time off, leave early today. Likely, at the moment, you will probably find her at the registration desk, ticking all of the boxes. I'd also like to make some acknowledgements before we go any further. And to begin, I would like to humbly acknowledge that the Nova Scotia League for Equal Opportunities is just one of many stewards on the ancestral and unceded territory of the land of the Wabanaki Confederacy, known as Mi'kma'ki, which consists of the Mi'kmaq, the Maliseet, the Passamaquoddy, and the Penobscot nations. Gotta be careful not to pop my peas here. These are the people of the Dawn. We are committed to good stewardship in our relationship and connection to all its people, and the intention of the Peace and Friendship Treaty. Some may not be aware of this, but the disability rights movement began at the same time as the women's rights movement for equal voting. More than 60 years later, persons with disabilities, both visible and invisible, continue to advocate for an inclusive and accessible quality of life. And NSLEO and our partners, we will continue to speak with a united voice for equitable access to education, the built environment, employment, economic security, goods and services, public transportation, the democratic engagement, recreational activities, and justice. Because accessibility is more than just the built environment. Nova Scotia has grown and continues to evolve through the contributions of the 400-year legacy of the rich history and culture of African Nova Scotians. And I'd also like to emphasize at this time as well that while NSLEO understands the difficult decisions some persons with disabilities have to make because of the lack of services and supports, NSLEO will not, under any circumstances, recommend MAID, medically assisted aid in dying, as an alternative to getting those supports and services. The Partnership for Access Awareness Nova Scotia continues to fully embrace the intent and meaning of Rick Hansen's Man in Motion tour and to raise awareness on issues of ability and inclusion. Each year, beginning the last Sunday of May, Access Awareness Week is an opportunity that allows Nova Scotians to promote these issues to audiences from all walks of life. And each year, the PANS Committee lands on a theme to embrace for that year. And this year's theme that was chosen is Our Voices, Our Vote, Disability Rights in Action. And there are many ways that we can register our action as persons with disabilities, as persons in the community, as persons who support persons with disabilities, as government, as private sector. Obviously, if we're age, we can vote, but we can also be involved in committees. We can volunteer. We can use our voice to move forward a challenge or an issue that we know needs to be corrected. The scholarship presentation is one of those things, and it's a significant part and one of my favorite parts of Access Awareness Week, because most people don't realize how costly it is for a person with a disability to achieve or to pursue a post-secondary education. So we are doing our best and have been doing our best for a number of years to be able to provide scholarships to students with disabilities through the incredible support of our amazing sponsors. You're hiding, Bruce. Such as Bruce Smith from the Smith family, Scotiabank, Casino Nova Scotia, Halifax and Sydney, Golf Nova Scotia, Lung Nova Scotia PEI, as well as NS Leo. We can support students with disabilities to pursue and continue their post-secondary education, leading to a career and a greater quality of life. I'm starting to get a bit of a sore throat here, so I think this is a prime opportunity to relinquish the podium and turn the mic over to another voice that is probably far more interesting than I am. So please join me in welcoming MLA, Timberley Prospect, and former Cabinet Minister and Premier, the Honourable Ian Rankin. Ian?
Sorry to disappoint, I won't be more interesting than Sherry. I want to thank Sherry for sharing her story, very brave and commendable, not only for sharing that, but continuing to be a fine example in the community. And I want to acknowledge also that we are on Mi'kma'ki, the traditional territory of the Mi'kmaq people here in Jabuktuk. And I am MLA Ian Rankin. I represent Timberley Prospect, not far down the road from here. And it's great to see so many people from across the province on today during Access Awareness Week. This is an event that I look forward to myself each and every year, and very honored and privileged to be able to join all of you. My pronouns are he, him, and I am wearing a gray blazer with a powder blue shirt and looks like burgundy pants, and I'm very happy that I can join you on the longest running of its kind week in this country. So this luncheon in particular is a powerful reminder of how far we've come and how much more we can achieve when we center the voices, talents, and leadership of people with diverse abilities. I want to acknowledge all of the corporate sponsors that are here. I've been coming here for more than a few years now, and I see you here each and every year, good corporate citizens supporting a great cause. I know my colleague is here from the legislature, Brian Wong, Honorable Brian Wong, as well as my former colleague, Joanne Bernard, who comes here every year. She's still very active in the community, and she was the minister when I started politics in 2013 of Community Services. And we had some challenging discussions back in those days on how we could bring forward legislation to make it mandatory to have the accessibility enshrined in legislation by 2030. So every year that I come and speak to the group here, we're getting closer and closer to that milestone. So now that I'm in opposition, my job is to hold Brian and his team to account to to make sure that we get closer and we make that happen. And so this theme this year, Our Voices, Our Voters, Disability Rights in Action, speaks to something that should never be taken for granted. All of you are a powerful voice in democracy. I hope no matter what you study, that you think about politics, whether that's eventually putting your name on a ballot. We need to see diverse voices in the legislature and all levels of government, but participating in democracy in any way that you can. Being involved, whether that's voting, that should be something everyone does, but also participating in community life in general. But today really is about celebrating a remarkable group of students. The recipients in the room, I want to say congratulations, and I always give this advice. You're about to embark on a challenging journey through your post-secondary studies. It's a big change, and what I would say is to take your time. I wish people said that to me and my peers when we got into school. We thought we had to get 5 credits a semester, rush through it, get finished in 4 years, and stick to the plan. So the other thing I would say, I hope parents are okay with this, is don't be afraid to change your mind and go down a different path of studying, or a different major, or combine majors, or go to do something entirely different. But whatever you do, make sure it's your passion and that you want to do it, and that you do it well. To the families and loved ones that are in this room, you are the support for the students on this journey, and I know it's an exciting day for all of you, so congratulations to you. I know no one does things alone, especially something like accomplishing these scholarships. I know it's hard to do for the committee that looks at these applications. There are many applications, and you should be proud of your loved ones. So parents, caregivers, friends, and mentors here today, thank you. And I also want to acknowledge the League for Equal Opportunities and PANS for making this possible and helping build a Nova Scotia where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. We all know that a truly inclusive society doesn't happen by accident, and it takes intentional work. Especially in today's time, we see diversity and equity inclusion increasingly under attack, more so in the United States, but it's starting to happen here in corporate culture and throughout. So that's why we need institutions like our Office of Equity and Anti-Racism Initiatives in our province, and that's why we as politicians need to be continuing to be held account, because things like this are more important than the politics of the day. Pushing against barriers takes a commitment from all of us to listen, learn, and to lead together. Throughout my career in public service, I've seen firsthand how much stronger our province becomes when we embrace and elevate the voices of people with diverse abilities. Your perspectives matter and your voices matter. And so as we look ahead, let's continue to work together for a Nova Scotia where ability is never underestimated, where access is never an afterthought, and where every person has the opportunity to live, contribute, and belong. I want to thank you again for the invitation to be part of this meaningful celebration. By this time next year when I speak to you guys, there will be a new inclusive community center I'm proud to be part of in my community of Beachville Lakeside Timberley. So I hope that you all get to see that. It will be Hansen certified, which is something that I demanded, and that's the kind of thing that we need to see as the norm. So hopefully one day we won't be just celebrating that, we should be coming to expect those type of standards. It'll benefit all of us. So again, thank you, Sherry. Thank you all for being here. Once again, congratulations to all of you.
Thank you so much for your remarks, Ian. I would now like to invite the Honourable Brian Wong, who is here today for a little bit of fun, and to provide remarks on behalf of the Minister of Education and Early Childhood Development and Advanced Education, the Honourable Brendan Maguire.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here again. It truly is, and it's nice to see the students, the award recipients, the parents, of course, who are the biggest supporters of their children as they go through their journey of life, really. So I am Brian Wong. I'm the MLA for Waverley Fall River Beaverbank. I'm up here dressed in kind of two-tone gray with a white shirt, black shoes, and my hair actually matches what I'm wearing. So there's more gray than there is black. So just to but the theme of this year's celebrations, our voices, our votes, disability rights in action. As a lifelong educator and as a politician, it is really meaningful for me to be here. I spent 14 years as a teacher, 14 years as a principal. And I have worked with kids from all walks of life, but it's the kids with disabilities that we start recognizing what we don't have in society to help support people make it as far as they possibly can. And my mantra in life for students is about education, is that education takes you to where you want to be. So if you want to be a doctor, then you have to take a certain path. If you want to be in sales, you have to take a certain path. If you want a politician, you can do whatever you want and end up being a politician. So I want to thank you to the Partnership for Access Awareness Nova Scotia for their role in promoting the inclusion of all Nova Scotians. Their scholarships absolutely help students in their pursuit of post-secondary education and training. In post-secondary, there are certainly different forms. We certainly have our universities, which is top of mind for everybody. Nova Scotia Community College, our private career colleges. But today is really about congratulating and celebrating our scholarship recipients. So you were selected not only because of your academic performance, but also your approach to overcoming barriers, your community involvement in your extracurricular activities. Continuing in your education, whatever discipline you choose, shows your commitment in developing the knowledge and skills that will not only get you to where you want to be in your educational journey and your life journey, but also to help other people in your community. So today we celebrate your scholarships, and I look forward to being invited here once again to hopefully see how far you've gone. So as a government, we continue to make progress towards the 2030 goals for a more accessible Nova Scotia by providing persons with disabilities with equitable access to programs, services, information, and infrastructure. On May 6, my colleague, Attorney General and Justice Minister Becky Drouin, released the province's 2025 to 2028 accessibility plan, which sets ambitious goals for the next 3 years. So this is the third multi-year plan that has been released, and each one builds on the previous one to make it better as we listen and as we work towards continuous improvement. So this current one builds on the previous 2022 to 25 plan. In the plan, priority areas include awareness and capacity building. This is all on your table, so if you forget, you're taking notes. Built environment, education, employment, delivery of goods and services, information and communications, and public transportation and infrastructure. And while progress is being made, we absolutely understand and we do know that there is more to do. So these plans allow real concrete actions. It's not lost on me that 38% of Nova Scotians over the age of 15 report living with a disability. So let's make sure that everyone is included. As an educator, I recognize the barriers that students with disabilities face. And as an individual, I don't even consider what I have a disability, although some would. But when I was 14 years old in school, and at school, I got hit in my left eye with a rock. And I was wearing glasses, and all the glass went into my eye. So I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, had the glass taken out, had to recover, I wasn't allowed to move my head, all of these things, right? You're 14 years old, and all you want to do, you want to play hockey, and you want to play soccer, and you want to play your sports. So I came out of that with so I am legally blind in my left eye. But what I always forget till I start talking about it is that I actually see double. And I don't think about it, but your brain has a funny way of compensating. And I don't recognize that I see double until I actually start talking about it. So I'm looking at my colleague Ian Rankin, and I see two of them. It's like a nightmare. But one of the things my doctor said to me, we're talking about what I can do and what I can't do, because when you're 14 years old, you think you're invincible, you can do anything. He said, you'll never be an eye surgeon. And that ticked me off. I'm not kidding. And I'm not an eye surgeon now, so I didn't have the aptitude to become one. But you know what? As things progress, as technology advances, there's so much in the world that is now robotics. There's so many things that we use artificial intelligence for. You know what? I bet if I wanted to be an eye surgeon right now, I could. So never give up on what you think you can do or what you think you can't do, because the possibilities are absolutely endless. And my last point is that little things make a difference. So by being blind in one eye, that means my depth perception really isn't there. But you learn to compensate. So one of the little things that we've learned to do is on steps. That last step that is painted yellow is golden for me, because I can't tell you how many times that I've gone down steps and I've missed that last step and I almost stumble or I do stumble. It's a good laugh for my friends that are around me, but it could be like serious for someone else. So that's a little thing that by consulting with community, that it's so simple to make that last step with a yellow stripe on it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Brian. I would now like to invite Vice Chair of the Accessibility Advisory Board, Ellen Johnson, to provide remarks. Ellen?
Thank you very much. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ellen Johnson, and I'm honored to be here today as the Vice Chair of the Nova Scotia Accessibility Advisory Board. I'm a white woman in my early 40s with short, light brown hair and blue eyes, and I'm carrying a white cane and using my phone with one earphone in. As the Vice Chair, I represent the board, which is a board of the Government of Nova Scotia established under the Accessibility Act. The board's role is to advise government on accessibility issues and give recommendations on how to improve accessibility across the province. And one way we do that is through 6 committees that focus on developing recommendations on accessibility standards. And another way is by providing advice to the Minister of Justice to ensure that Nova Scotia becomes a more inclusive and accessible place. So in addition to my role on the board, I'm the Regional Accessibility Coordinator for the 5 municipalities in Lunenburg County. And as a person living with a disability, I bring a really personal perspective to my work in both of those roles. So this year's theme for Access Awareness Week, Our Voices, Our Votes, Disability Rights in Action, really does resonate with me. And the mandate of the Accessibility Advisory Board is just that. It's lending our experiences and knowledge of disability to inform and support the implementation of our provincial accessibility legislation. And becoming part of a provincial board is important and impactful, and it's a way to contribute to both the community and the province. And we need more people with disabilities to get involved and shape that future. So I'm currently in my second 3-year term on the board, and now proudly serving as vice chair. And over the past 3 years, I've really had the privilege of working with 11 passionate, talented, really experienced and dedicated people from across Nova Scotia. And one thing that's kind of unique about our board is that the majority of our members must be persons with disabilities, deaf and or neurodivergent. And the structure was intentionally built into the Accessibility Act to ensure that people with lived experience are an active part of all of the aspects of this work. And it's a really exciting time for the board. We're supporting 2 committees right now, developing recommendations on accessibility standards, so in information and communication and in public transportation. So we also provided advice to the Minister of Justice on the first independent review of the Accessibility Act, and will play a key role in the second review that'll begin late next year. So also, we frequently meet with other organizations and government departments to learn about their work, their progress on accessibility, and how we can support each other to make meaningful change. So just a few months ago, we launched our own website, and that helps all of you learn about what we're doing, and you can see it at nsaccessibilityboard.ca. And another significant part of this work also involves collaborating with the Accessibility Directorate within the Department of Justice. And as you may know, they keep us connected to the community through events like this, and also supporting the 108 organizations that are prescribed in the Accessibility Act, like municipalities, universities, libraries, and lots more. So those public sector organizations have their own accessibility plans in place to ensure their services are accessible for clients, staff, and communities. And in the past 2 weeks, there have been over 7,000 access awareness posters and postcards sent out to support these organizations as they celebrate Access Awareness Week. And I'm sure most of you are aware, Nova Scotia has the highest rate of disability in Canada, with almost 2 out of 5 Nova Scotians reporting having 1 or more disabilities. And almost all of us or someone in our family will experience disability at some point in our lives. And it's going to take, all of us working together, all kind of pulling in the same direction to make sure that access includes everyone. And finally, I want to extend my very sincere congratulations to the Nova Scotia League for Equal Opportunities, including Executive Director Sherry Costa-Lorenz for their 39 years of hard work in advocating accessibility, as well as to the Partnership for Access Awareness Nova Scotia for their leadership in coordinating this week's events. And I guess finally, and I guess most importantly, is congratulations to the scholarship recipients. I remember being a person with a disability trying to pay for various educational needs, and this, I can imagine, is a huge help. So congratulations to you, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your remarks, Ellen. To keep carrying this binder back and forth so I can remember all the titles correctly here. So I would now like to invite the CEO of the Nova Scotia Human Rights Commission, Joseph Fraser, to provide the remarks. And if it's okay with you, Joe, I'm just going to leave this here.
Thank you, Sherry. Gwe, Walaliok, Deluisi Joe Fraser. Hello, and thank you all so much for being here with us this afternoon. My name is Joe Fraser. My pronouns are he and him. I'm the Director and CEO of the Nova Scotia Human Rights Commission. And I am so pleased to join in welcoming all of you to the 2025 Access Awareness Week Nova Scotia Scholarship Luncheon. This year's theme, Our Voices, Our Votes, Disability Rights in Action, reminds us that individual and collective voices matter. They matter in the pursuit of a fully accessible province. I hope that's not me. Each year, this luncheon stands out as a real highlight of Access Awareness Week, and celebrating such an impressive group of young leaders who are pursuing post-secondary education assures all of us that
the voices of persons with disabilities will continue to really shape the future in Nova Scotia. At the Human Rights Commission, we envision a path forward where education is not just a means of acquiring knowledge and awareness about each other's rights, but it's a tool that's used proactively to create transformational change. Our goal is to galvanize that change by empowering communities to combat discrimination through education that's accessible and inclusive and equitable. When barriers to inclusion are removed and people have all they need to live full and productive lives, they thrive. And today we celebrate scholarship recipients who are taking advantage of their right to education as they forge their own path and achieve their utmost potential. When a system of legal protections like we have in Nova Scotia works well, it results in positive change. In recent years, there have been several examples of change resulting from individuals with disabilities challenging the status quo and dismantling barriers to inclusion. Gus Reed, Ben Marston, Paul Viano, Jeremy McDonald, and Kelly McKenna challenged the inaccessibility of restaurant washrooms, and the result is the ongoing removal of barriers for people using wheelchairs that so many of us take for granted. Jerry Post, Linda Campbell, Sheila Wildman, and other members of the Bill 59 Community Alliance coordinated and advocated for government to enact the province's Accessibility Act, only the third in Canada at that time. And this has resulted in our province's commitment to enacting standards to remove barriers for Nova Scotians with disabilities in education, employment, the built environment, and many other areas. Beth McLean, Sheila Livingstone, Joseph Delaney, and the Disability Rights Coalition challenged the institutionalization of persons with disabilities, and now our province is in the midst of fundamental transformation that will impact the lives of current and future generations. The voices of these individuals have made a difference, and their voices were amplified in raising awareness throughout the province and around the country about the rights of persons with disabilities. Now, this work is never finished. The Accessibility Act, the Human Rights Act, the transformation of the Disability Support Program, these are outcomes that Nova Scotians fought for and are leveraging to advance social change for the betterment of all Nova Scotians. But change takes time and commitment and tireless, hard, thankless work at times. The Nova Scotia Human Rights Act was passed in 1963. This was the result of the leadership and advocacy of the African Nova Scotian community, seeking fairness and equity and an end to discrimination. But here we are 62 years later, and we are still in business, embarking on our own modernization process because discrimination persists. Barriers still exist, and Nova Scotians must continue to push to see themselves represented in every aspect of society, to ensure their voices continue to inform positive change. As today's scholarships are awarded and we hear from this year's recipients, I encourage you to ask yourselves what you can do to support these young leaders after Access Awareness Week has concluded. I and my team will do the same. We will continue to engage in meaningful partnerships and to highlight the role that human rights can play in opening doors and removing barriers. As one example, we've partnered with other members of the Access Awareness Week Planning Committee to coordinate a virtual panel discussion taking place tomorrow afternoon entitled Electing People with Disabilities, where panelists will share their insights and experiences of navigating elected office and barriers to the full inclusion within the world of politics. So I encourage you to register for that panel discussion through the Human Rights Commission website. And I also encourage you to continue to raise awareness and share of our shared rights to live a full and dignified life. Thanks so much, Wally-Oak.
Thank you so much, Joe. Before we head to lunch, Joe had touched on a couple of things that I would like to emphasize. One of the things was how important it is for everyone in this room to be engaged. And on that note, I would like to let you know that Engage Nova Scotia's CEO, Danny Graham, is here, and he is leading the Quality of Life Index here in Nova Scotia. They've been doing that for a number of years. I'm not going to steal his thunder, nor am I going to put you on the spot, Danny, but I am going to let everyone know that for the first time, this survey that they gather the data from is going to be delivered to every household, am I correct, Annie, in the province. And one of the ways that your voice can count is to, when you get that survey, take the time to fill it out and make sure that you share that information with others. Take the time to let your voice be heard, because unless you let your voice be heard, no one knows what systems need to be corrected. And Joe also mentioned a number of my former colleagues, and I say my former colleagues because many of them have passed away in their fight to be able to see equitable access to services and supports and programs. And we need to collectively come together with a united voice so that we can address this in our lifetime. Although my concern is that what we do here today is not so much for us, but for those who are coming behind us. The legacy that we are going to leave for our children and what we inherited from our parents can be totally different. Please enjoy your lunch, and I will be back shortly. Thank you. I always hate interrupting these really engaging conversations. But we can't forget why we're here, and that is to present the scholarships to the students. I do acknowledge that I left the table before dessert was served. So if you start serving it, could somebody please save me a little bit for after the fact? Just before we get into the scholarships themselves, just a little unknown fact. NSLEO is a very small organization. When I say small, we have 1.5 full-time persons, but with an extremely dedicated board. Some of my members are actually here today, and some of our community partners are here today. And just like on Monday, I know if I try to name everyone, I am going to do a disservice to those who I have neglected or did not name. So I'm just going to say thank you to each and every one of you for coming here today and for sharing this event with us. This event, despite the fact that we do have a very small staff, we have been able to, over the years, securing from our sponsors who are extremely dedicated and are equally as passionate about this as we are, over $250,000. Actually, I think it's more than that, $250,000 in scholarships, with 100% of those dollars going directly to the students. Yeah. And that is specifically because of our sponsors. We do have some of our sponsors represented here today. Unfortunately, there is a flu that's been going around, and some of our sponsors have not been able to make it in on short notice, not able to find somebody to delegate to be here today, but they do acknowledge their regrets. Scotiabank is one of those. We also have today Bruce Smith from the Smith family, and Golf Nova Scotia, and Lung Nova Scotia Association of Nova Scotia, and Prince Edward Island. Casino Nova Scotia, Lynette is here in place of Melanie Wells, who is, again, down with the flu, and NSLEO will be presenting an award on behalf of the Alex Peeler Mixed Media Fund. The first scholarships that we're going to present are from Scotiabank. And our first recipient is, and I'm not sure if you wanted us to say your full name. I know applications can be very formal. They want your first name, your middle name, your last name, maybe your second born somewhere down the road. So I'm just going to, for lack of more information, call out your full name. And the first person is Addison Elizabeth Ann Gale. Addison Gale. Addison Gale is a dedicated and ambitious student with a strong passion for leadership, community engagement, and academic excellence. After graduating in 2025, she will be pursuing a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry with a minor in nutrition at MSVU. At Auburn, on top of her excellent academic performance, Addison is on the yearbook committee and serves as an executive student council member in the roles of treasurer, director of merchandise, and director of the Animal Awareness Committee. In the future, Addison wants to make a meaningful impact in the field of food science, addressing critical issues, and driving positive change. As she pursues her studies, she hopes to collaborate on community food science initiatives, and she aims to inspire underrepresented communities, including young girls, gender diverse individuals, and individuals with disabilities to engage in science and global citizenship. Addison, would you like to come to the stage?
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. And as a reminder for everyone, we will be taking pictures at the end. If you want to race off the stage, understand completely. Thank you so much, Addison. Our next recipient is Amanda Myers. Amanda is a student at Mount St. Vincent University and is completing her undergraduate degree in business administration, majoring in strategic human resource management. She was born and raised in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and is quite active in her day-to-day. She has 3 young children, works part-time, and balances a full-time course load while maintaining a high GPA. Her professional goal is to manage an HR department and to ensure a positive and inclusive work culture that includes fair treatment and representation of all visible and non-visible minorities, as well as implement EDIA policies and boost benefit and compensation packages that offer more programs to support the health and well-being of employees. Amanda, would you like to join me on stage? Would you like to say a few words?
I could be here all day. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm very grateful for this. It means a lot. Thank you.
You're welcome. Our next scholarship recipient is Beth Allison Laws. Beth is a student at Liverpool Regional High School, LRHS, graduating this June 2025. This fall, she will be attending Dalhousie University to start her first year of a Bachelor of Science and plans to major in neuroscience. After she finishes the undergraduate degree, she hopes to further her studies in either human or animal medicine, though she hasn't decided yet. She is thankful to be the recipient of a PAN scholarship, as the money this scholarship provides will make a great difference in helping fund her post-secondary education journey. Beth, would you like to join me on stage? Would you like to say a few words? Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Beth is a woman of few words. Our next recipient is Michaela Frost. Michaela Frost will be graduating from Dartmouth High School, where she is known for her leadership, hard work, and dedication both on and off the field. Living with dyslexia and ADHD, she has learned to embrace her learning differences as strengths, using assistive technology and hard work to succeed as an honor student. She is the captain of the boys' tackle football team, the starting point guard on the varsity girls' basketball team, and a 2-time MVP of the varsity rugby team. Beyond athletics, she is deeply involved in her school community, volunteering for the Maritime Women's Basketball Association, helping with school events, and mentoring younger athletes. This fall, she will be attending Cape Breton University to study sport and physical activity leadership. Michaela, would you like to join me on stage? Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you.
I guess I'm making up for it. Okay. The next award is coming from the Smith family and Gulf, Nova Scotia, and Lung, Nova Scotia PEI scholarship recipients. So today, presenting the Smith Family Award and Gulf, Nova Scotia, and Lung, Nova Scotia PEI Award is Bruce Smith. Not to play favorites, but he is one of my favorite sponsors. Born and raised and schooled in St. Andrews by the Sea, New Brunswick, Bruce later attended and earned his Bachelor of Commerce degree from St. Mary's University in 1978. He joined Scotiabank after graduation and enjoyed a 40-year career, 30 years in various aspects of human resources. Bruce volunteered on a number of equity and AMP diversity committees during his career, but his most rewarding one was contributing 8 years to the Canadian Council on Rehabilitation and Work, the CCRW. To promote and support meaningful and equitable employment of people with disabilities is their mission. Included in those 8 years, Bruce was national chair for the last 3, and retirement for Bruce came in 2018, but he still spends a great deal of time volunteering. He has spent 10.5 years on his condo board, 6.5 years as president. He also recently sat on the board of the Lung Association of Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island and Gulf, Nova Scotia. While his tenure as a board director of those organizations has ended, he is still active on various committees. When not volunteering, Bruce can be found on Ashburn Golf Course. Plus, he loves to travel with his wife of nearly 44 wonderful years. Additionally, they both enjoy spending quality time with their 9-year-old granddaughters. During his tenure with Scotiabank, Bruce got involved with the PAN Scholarship Program in its first year. After many years representing Scotiabank in this program, Bruce retired in 2018, but he did want to stay involved. So Bruce and Sue started the Smith Family Scholarship in 2019, and this is the 7th entrance scholarship that they have given as a family. Bruce?
Thank you.
Notes here if you want to use them. Bridget?
Right on. Thank you. Well, for the Smith Family Scholarship, we're pleased to present this to Bridget Murphy. Bridget Murphy is an 18-year-old student graduating with honors from Dr. John Hughes Gillis Regional High School in Antigonish, where she excels both academically and in extracurricular activities. She's been a voice for raising awareness about unique challenges faced by her peers, particularly regarding accessibility and inclusion in community health activities. Bridget actively works to remove barriers to participation such as transportation, social isolation, and financial constraints, ensuring that all young people can engage in health initiatives. She's a youth health center volunteer at her school, and she's the youth member on the Antigonish Town and Country Community Health Board. Bridget will be attending St. Francis Xavier University in September, where she will begin her Bachelor of Science and in nursing program to one day be an RN, and who knows what after that. Anyway, Bridget, congratulations, and the Smith family looks forward to helping you on your journey. Now, for the Gulf, Nova Scotia scholarship that is funded through the Lung, Nova Scotia PEI, and this is a great partnership that the two have. So we certainly appreciate that. And with me today is Robert McDonald, the President and CEO of Lung Nova Scotia PEI. Thanks for coming. Robert Jeffrey Cameron, Gulf Nova Scotia and Lung NSPEI. Bobby Cameron is a bilingual student from Salmon River, Nova Scotia, where he lives with his parents, his younger brother Alex, and I guess more badminton gear than most people think is normal. He's wrapping up his time at École Acadienne de Truro on the honor roll list, with a long list of ways he's made his mark, whether rallying on the badminton court or rallying classmates on the student council. He brings energy, heart, and a good sense of humor to everything he does. He's honored to represent Team Nova Scotia in badminton at the upcoming 2025 Canadian Francophone Games in Laval, Quebec. And yes, he's more than just a little pumped. So congratulations on that. In September 2025, Bobby will begin his bachelor's degree in business administration through the co-op education program at the Université Sainte-Anne, where he's proud to have been recruited to join the varsity badminton team. I suspect that was a prerequisite to you applying there. Excuse me. Bobby, congratulations on receiving the award from a scholarship from Gulf Nova Scotia and Nova Scotia, Lung Nova Scotia PEI. So if you want to come up, and we'll help you on your journey. And finally, for our next scholarship is to Van Bernard, the Gulf Nova Scotia Lung NSPEI. Van was diagnosed with spinal muscular atrophy, SMA, at type 2 at the age of 8 months old. As such, Van uses a power wheelchair to navigate daily and recruits and requires many therapies and equipment to his best life, despite his physical challenges. Van is an active athlete participating in parasports such as wheelchair soccer, sled hockey, parasailing, and swimming. He also gives back as baseball coach for children with physical and intellectual disabilities. Van began public speaking and fundraising for the IWK Health Center at a young age. As his platform grew, so did his advocacy. He now speaks regularly about accessibility, inclusivity, and diversity. Van is committed to challenging the stereotype that people with disabilities can't be successful contributors to society. Van plans to study a Bachelor of Commerce with a major in sports business at St. Mary's University, with the goal of being a professional endorsement agent for para-athletes. So Van, congratulations. It's been a pleasure to meet you, and we'll start you on your journey.
There we go. Hello, everyone. I'd like to first of all thank Gulf Nova Scotia and the Lung Nova Scotia and PEI organizations. I also like to say that attending post-secondary education is not exactly easy per se for people and students with disabilities, and there are way more costs than just tuition, such as transportation physical care, accessible technology, and much, much more. So things like this greatly benefit so many kids just like me. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bruce. I so much appreciate your continued support, as well as our other sponsors and our next one who's coming up. Unfortunately, although Melanie Wells is not able to make it because she too has got the flu that is going around, she does have a delegate. Lynette is here, I believe, and she's going to be presenting the award on behalf of Casino Nova Scotia. I can give you a bit of background on Melanie as well, because she has been involved with the scholarships for a number of years. She is the Director of Human Resources and has been with Casino Nova Scotia for 15 years. And she is very proud of the work that the business does with the community. She has also had a considerable amount of honor in participating in these scholarship awards, and regrets that she's not able to be here today. So I'm wondering if, Lynette, would you like to come up and give out the awards to Rohan? We do have some notes if you'd like to.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Melanie is quite disappointed she couldn't be here. This is one of, as Ian mentioned earlier, one of her favorite events of the year. But I did speak with her earlier, and she has almost no voice, so it would not have gone very well. She also did give me a couple of little things just to mention. One of the things she wanted to mention was that this is actually our 25th year participating in this event. We've been sponsoring since the year 2000, so we're quite proud of that. We're very proud of the organization itself and everything that it offers to all of the students. Reading all of the applications and everything, it's always challenging, of course, to choose recipients. They're all very inspiring and heartfelt, but we do want to congratulate all of the recipients for today, and definitely our recipient, Rowan. So Rowan Hutka is from Lower Sackville and will soon be graduating from L'École Secondaire de Sommeil. In the fall, Rowan will begin his first year at Dalhousie University in the Therapeutic Recreation Program. Growing up with hearing loss, he faced challenges in communication in school, sports, and other activities, but he learned to advocate for himself and use his experiences to help others. Rowan was fortunate to have great leaders and coaches on his high school wrestling team, in youth mentorship programs, and at Camp Brigadoon. Having strong mentors taught him how to lead with empathy and help others feel included. This scholarship also means a lot because it recognizes the spirit of inclusion that's so important to Rowan. He wants to keep building inclusive spaces where people feel like they matter. So Rowan, if you would like to come up to join us.
Our final in-person recipient today is Jean Bursey, and this is actually a scholarship that is coming from Ennis Leo in memoriam for one of our past board members, Alex Peeler, who passed away unexpectedly just a few short years ago. Alex was a graduate of Parkview Education Center in Bridgewater, and he went on to further his education at the Nova Scotia Community College, the Ivany campus in Dartmouth, receiving his diploma in screen arts, and the Lunenburg campus with a diploma in business administration. Alex was the founder and owner of Squeaky Wheel Productions, a multimedia company with a focus on advocacy for persons with disabilities. He made many videos about life and the challenges of living with a disability, including a documentary short that was screened at the Atlantic Film Festival, FINN for short. Alex was a passionate advocate and mentor for the disability community. He faced his own disabilities with determination and zest for life and a pursuit to make the world a better place. He was the chair of the Nova Scotia League for Equal Opportunities, as well as a member of the Canadian Council for Disabilities and the Muscular Dystrophy Halifax chapter. Alex had been appointed to the Nova Scotia Advisory Board on Accessibility, and he was very excited to be stepping into that role. He was serving on the Muscular Dystrophy National Volunteer Engagement Advisory Committee and the Parent Project Muscular Dystrophy, PPMD, and participated in the National Youth Forum, which took him to Ottawa, where he advocated for programs to be developed and funded through the federal government. He was a past member of the former Muscular Dystrophy South Shore chapter, and he volunteered for many and various fundraisers supporting Muscular Dystrophy Canada. Alex was the recipient of numerous awards and honors over the years, including the Muscular Dystrophy Leadership and Advocacy National Award and the Canada 150 Sesquicentennial, I hope I said that right, PIN Award. His work in advocacy allowed him to travel and meet dignitaries and advocates, including realizing his dream to meet his hero, Rick Hansen. He was a member of the Holy Trinity Anglican Church, Bridgewater, where he also served as the secretary for the Holy Trinity Men's Group. Alex was employed with the town of Bridgewater as the events planning coordinator when he passed away unexpectedly in July of 2020. But the spirit of his work lives on, and the Alex Peeler Multimedia Award does go to Jean Bursey. Jean is currently in their third year of a Bachelor of Science in Biology at Mount St. Vincent University. Their journey into science was unconventional. They initially studied English at Dalhousie King's, but mental health struggles led Jean to dropping out before getting very far. After a long time away, Jean has recovered and refocused, returning to school with a new passion. Since then, Jean is specifically drawn to neuroscience, as well as animal physiology and evolutionary biology. Jean works in the biology labs as a lab technician assistant and as a teacher's assistant in 2024. They were proud to receive the Outstanding Student in Biology Award and made the Dean's List. Receiving their ADHD diagnosis in their 20s changed Jean's perspective on nearly everything. Receiving this scholarship feels like both recognitions of the challenges they faced and a celebration of the achievements they achieved in spite of them. Jean, would you like to come and accept your scholarship? Would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Thank you very much. It's quite an honor, and I want to thank specifically John Wangsgard and Madeline Spicer. You may have seen in my bio that I have ADHD, and you might be familiar with struggles with time management and deadlines. And Madeline and John wrote me wonderful, lovely recommendation letters on 24 hours notice before the deadline of the scholarship application. So I want to thank them very much for making this happen as well for me, and thank you for the scholarship. It's a really big honor.
I think we have an incredible roster this year, as we do in each year that we host this luncheon. So congratulations to all of our scholarship recipients for your amazing accomplishments. We know that the future is in good hands. I would also like to highlight our Cape Breton recipients who received their scholarships on Monday at an event in Richmond County. That was Lauren McDougall, Faith Campbell, and Tyler Stubbart. We wish you well on your post-secondary educational journey. And before we close off, I would like to remind everyone opportunities for pictures. This is a once-in-a-lifetime event to be able to capture this going forward. And in closing, I would like to thank our sponsors for their support. Again, the Smith family, Casino Nova Scotia, Halifax and Sydney, Scotiabank, Golf Nova Scotia, Lung Association of Nova Scotia, and Prince Edward Island. And also my board, the Nova Scotia League for Equal Opportunities Board, of which 2 members are here today, Hannah Heffler and Will Brewer. We would also like to extend our appreciation to our partners, the Accessibility Directorate, the Association of Municipal Administrators Nova Scotia, Teamwork Cooperative, CNIB, the Disability Partnership, Halifax Regional Municipality, Inclusion Nova Scotia, Immigrant Services Association of Nova Scotia, or ISANS, March of Dimes Canada, the Municipality of the County of Cumberland, Nova Scotia Health, Office of Equity and Anti-Racism, Nova Scotia Human Rights Commission, Recreation Nova Scotia, St. Francis Xavier University, and last but certainly not least, the Tetris Society of North America. Thank you, everyone. Some of our partners have materials and information available. Please do take some with you. Lots of really good information on accessibility, diversity, and inclusion. And again, thank you so much for being here. Please, as I mentioned, let's find a spot where we can have some of those photos taken. Thank you all for coming. Safe travels and enjoy the rest of your day. Before everyone takes off, and I know again I'm interrupting. Come back. That is North America's first town crier with Down syndrome. My board member, Will Brewer. Before everyone takes off, I would like to invite all of the recipients to come up together and pose with our sponsors. I'm thinking probably the best spot, maybe over here on the left, just where there's a bare wall so as it's not going to be interrupted with some other curtains and such. So over here to my left, your right, and we'll get some pictures taken. So with our dignitaries as well, we'll love to get a group shot. That would include Brian and Ian, Ellen, Joe, Bruce. Okay, over on the left. It's like herding cats. Okay. Up. Okay. So once again, we're looking for Ellen, Joe, Bruce, I see Van heading up. I see Brian. Up, 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 up. So we need Brian, Lynette, Ellen. Come on.